Hey everyone, and welcome! Today we're taking a deep dive into a career path that's, well, it's essential, but maybe doesn't always get the fanfare it deserves.
Yeah, kind of under the radar, right?
Exactly. We're talking about gas transmission system operators. Now you might be thinking, gas transmission dot what now?
It's okay. Not everyone's up on their energy infrastructure lingo.
Right, but these are the folks who make sure natural gas actually makes it from, well, wherever it comes from.
Out of the ground, basically.
Right, out of the ground to your house, to businesses, all the places that rely on it.
Exactly. It's like the behind-the-scenes magic of keeping things running.
I like that, the behind-the-scenes magic. And we've got a whole stack of insights here from RoleCatcher to help us break it all down.
Yeah, they've done some serious digging into this role.
So if you're out there thinking, could this be my dream job? Or even just, what is a gas transmission system operator? And this deep dive is for you.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. So RoleCatcher doesn't mess around. They call these operators the vital link in the natural gas supply chain. And honestly, vital link sounds pretty important to me. What do you think?
Oh, it's crucial. I mean, think about it. Heating your home, cooking your meals, even some power plants rely on natural gas. None of that happens if the gas doesn't get where it needs to go.
Okay, now you're making me think about that gas stove I use every day.
Right. It's easy to take it for granted. But those pipelines, they're like the arteries of the energy world.
So these operators are basically making sure the gas flows through those arteries, keeping everything running smoothly.
You got it. And it's not just about turning a valve on and off. We're talking monitoring gas flow, pressure levels, making sure everything's running at peak efficiency.
Sounds kind of like air traffic control, but for natural gas instead of planes.
That's a great comparison. Actually, there are a lot of similarities when you think about the need for precision and quick thinking.
Oh, tell me more about that. I once heard a story about air traffic control.
And just like air traffic control, you need to be able to make split-second decisions, especially when something goes wrong.
Okay, now you've got me a little nervous. RoleCatcher did mention pressure drops. What exactly are those, and should I be worried?
Well, not to worry unless you have a natural gas pipeline running through your backyard. But pressure drops are a big deal. Imagine a garden hose, right?
Okay, picturing it.
If there's a kink in the hose or, say, a leak, what happens?
You get less water coming out, right? Less pressure.
Exactly. It's the same principle with a pipeline. A pressure drop could mean a leak somewhere, maybe a piece of equipment malfunctioned, any number of things. And those leaks, well, they can be dangerous, not to mention bad for the environment.
Right. Now that you mention it, I have heard about pipeline leaks in the news. So it's not just about keeping the gas flowing, it's about safety too.
Absolutely. It's a huge responsibility, which is why RoleCatcher calls this a high-stress role. You might be in a state-of-the-art control room 1 minute, then out inspecting pipelines in the middle of nowhere the next.
Wow, that's quite the contrast. Talk about a dynamic work environment.
You can say that again?
Speaking of dynamic, RoleCatcher also gave us a glimpse into the career path itself. And it's not just about climbing a ladder, it's more like leveling up your skills as you go.
Why, that's a great way to put it. You start by assisting with those day-to-day operations we talked about. Learning the ropes, understanding how everything works.
Getting your hands dirty, so to speak.
Exactly. But as you gain experience and knowledge, you might find yourself leading a team of operators, developing safety procedures, even working with engineers on new pipeline projects. There's real potential to grow within this field.
And speaking of growth, RoleCatcher mentioned a stable job market, which in today's world, those are practically magic words. But are we talking just stable or actually growing?
Well, that's the interesting thing, right? The energy sector is always evolving, but the demand for natural gas isn't going away anytime soon. If anything, RoleCatcher cited projections that this field will continue to grow steadily over the next decade, even as renewable energy sources become more prevalent.
So it's not just about finding a job, it's about finding a career with legs. That's huge for anyone considering this path.
For sure. And the skills you pick up along the way, those are valuable no matter where your career takes you. Problem solving, critical thinking, teamwork, those are transferable skills.
It's like a future-proof career choice
Yeah.
almost. But, okay, let's say someone is listening and they're thinking, sign me up. I want to work with pipelines and pressure gauges. What kind of education are we talking about here? What does RoleCatcher recommend? Well, it seems like engineering is a good place to start, right? Mechanical, chemical.
Makes sense, yeah, when you're dealing with complex systems, actual gas.
Exactly. But RoleCatcher also mentioned a few that I wouldn't have immediately thought of, like electrical engineering,
Hmm.
and even environmental science.
Right.
Now, those really piqued my interest. What's the connection there?
Well, think about it. All those pipelines, they have electrical systems, right, for monitoring, control, all that good stuff. And then the environmental piece.
Okay, yeah.
With the focus on sustainability these days, even in the natural gas industry, you've got to understand the environmental impact.
So it's not just about knowing how to fix a leak, it's understanding the whole system, the tech, the environmental side.
Exactly. It's a holistic view, you could say.
I like that. A holistic view.
And speaking of standing out, RoleCatcher mentions some certifications that can give you an edge. The CEM, that's Certified Energy Manager, and the CGT, Certified Gas Technician.
Okay, so those are like the gold stars in this field.
Pretty much. The CEM, that one dives into energy efficiency, sustainability, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The CGT is more the hands-on technical side of natural gas.
Got it, got it.
Having those on your resume, it shows you're serious,
Shows you're not messing around. You're not just here for a job. You're here for a career.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've aced your classes, you're working your way up the ladder, maybe even got a shiny new certification. But then, the moment of truth. The interview.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right. I bet those can be pretty intense.
Oh, you know it. But luckily, RoleCatcher has our backs, as always. They got a whole section on interview prep, even include actual questions they've seen come up.
Oh, nice. Give me an example. What kind of curveball should someone be ready for?
Okay, one that stuck out to me was, describe a time you had to troubleshoot a complex problem under pressure. And it's not just about, having the right answer. It's about showing how you think on your feet, how you stay calm when things get a little,
A little heated.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, probably comes with the territory in this line of work, right?
Probably an average Tuesday afternoon for a gas transmission system operator.
You said it. And that actually brings us back to something we talked about earlier, the whole continuous learning thing. RoleCatcher really emphasizes staying current, joining an industry association, maybe attending a conference.
You ever stop learning, right?
Exactly. Because the energy world, it's not standing still.
Always evolving. Well, that feels like a perfect place to wrap up our deep dive today. But before we go, let's do a quick recap. We've covered a lot of ground here.
We have. From miles of pipelines to high-tech control rooms, it's been quite the journey.
It has. We talked about the crucial role gas transmission system operators play in keeping everything running, keeping that natural gas flowing safely and reliably.
It's a vital role for sure.
Absolutely vital. We talked about the skills you need, from engineering know-how to on-your-feet problem solving, and the importance of staying curious, always learning new things.
And let's not forget those potential superpowers you gain as you move up in your career.
Right, becoming a real energy wizard.
Exactly.
Huge thanks to RoleCatcher for providing all the incredible intel for our deep dive today.
Couldn't have done it without them.
And a big thank you to all of you for joining us. Until next time, keep those brains engaged and keep exploring.